News, our top stories. A roundup of President Samia's visit to Norway. Loasa's journey from Dar es Salaam to Arusha. Good evening. I am Kanki Mwegomole. You can also follow us live via our YouTube channel, TBC Online, and also get all the latest news through our Instagram, Facebook, and X pages at TBC Online. The Tanzanian President Samia Suluhu Hassan has concluded her two-day state visit in Norway, where the two parties agreed to strengthen their bilateral relations in trade and business cooperation and confirmed a shared commitment to the multilateral system and respect for international law, insisting climate change represents an urgent and potentially irreversible threat to human societies and the planet. Here are more details.
Her visit comes at the invitation of King Harald and Queen Sonja of Norway, where the two nations signed a memorandum of understanding on food security and agriculture, testifying to the joint resolve to strengthen Tanzania's capacity and ability to transform the agri-food sector. The visit marks 60 years of bilateral relations between Tanzania and Norway and demonstrates the enduring commitment of both sides to advance and diversify their long-term friendship and cooperation. 60 years of shared history have forged strong bonds between the two countries, and today the main areas of cooperation remain to be renewable energy, climate, agriculture, social security, and public financial management. President Samia Suluhu Hassan met and held talks with the Prime Minister of Norway, Jonas Støre, where the two expressed their satisfaction with the state of the bilateral relations while expressing their hope that the state visit will pave the way for even closer ties between Tanzania and Norway in the years to come.
Finally, the body of the late Prime Minister Edward Lowassa has arrived in Monduli, Arusha for the last rites of the funeral and finally the burial on Saturday. Here's a report prepared by Anwar Mkama, read by Teddy Mparanyanga.
Early today at 6 o'clock in the morning, the journey of taking the body of former Prime Minister Edward Lowassa to the airport begins. The motorcade passed through roads bearing the names of retired presidents, including Ali Hassan Mwinyi and Julius Kambarage Nyerere. But before reaching the Julius Nyerere Road, it stopped at the road that bears the name of the Iron Lady, Bibi Titi Mohammed. Then the motorcade arrived at the Julius Nyerere International Airport at 6:45 a.m. And at 2.5 hours, the plane carrying Lowassa's body, along with the one carrying relatives and friends, took off to the Kilimanjaro International Airport, Kia. Finally, the motorcade arrived at the Kia Airport. After a journey of about an hour, people showed up in large numbers, while deep sadness dominated at the scene. Then the motorcade arrived at the home of former Prime Minister Edward Lowassa in Monduli, an area in which his history began. His relatives, neighbors, and residents who perhaps had a difficult time believing about his death can now absolutely confirm that Edward Ngoyai Lowassa has passed away. They are not with him physically, but they are with him spiritually.
The government says it will continue with strategies to invest in the technology sector so that all services in the country can attain digital transformation in order to eliminate corruption and theft associated with the use of cash. The remarks were made by Prime Minister Kassim Majaliwa during the opening of the meeting, bringing together stakeholders in the technology sector at the Future Ready Summit. Here are further details by Ismail Bugza.
Stakeholders and investors in the technology sector in the country are meeting in Dar es Salaam with the aim of discussing challenges in the development of science and technology and how to find solutions. Among other things, the meeting is accompanied by digital training for 70 girls aged 14 to 19. Prime Minister Kassim Majaliwa is a guest of honor at this meeting, and here he begins by explaining the importance of providing girls with digital education at a young age. Puts more effort into ensuring that women fully participate in the digital economy so that they can expand the economy. While doing that, we should also evaluate to what extent we have empowered and motivated women to take part in the digital economy. And here he mentions the government's effort for transition all government payments into the digital system. We prioritized this issue of digital market as well as other important areas, including infrastructure, innovative ideas, cybersecurity, and the use of technology, among many others. Of all of these areas have been enhanced. Moreover, the fear of the advent of artificial intelligence technology is dispelled by the authorities. I stand here to remove fear amongst Tanzanians. Industrial revolution cannot be avoided. We must plan properly, and the best way to plan is by holding discussions like these, investing in putting skills and move forward, because the world is going in that direction and we cannot be left behind. On the other hand, the chairman of the Vodacom board, Judge Thomas Mihayo, says young girls need digital education to economically empower themselves.
They are being prepared to understand more about digital world, which is very essential. This will help them a lot once they go to university.
Sophie Madden, chief of the AI Digital Knowledge Hub Department, emphasizes on the urgent need for concerted effort to bridge the digital divide and empower women in the technology sector, while Bakari Machumu says digital economy is a key for girls' economic prosperity.
Even though we've taken small steps toward gender parity, it still needs to be improved.
So the understanding of how digital economy operates, how digital facilitate business will help girls, will help women and everyone to reduce their cost and not involve themselves into other unnecessary costs.
The statistics show that in 2023, 70% of men are using internet, compared with the 65% of women who are using the internet. More initiative needed so as to make sure more women are using internet, especially in the area of digital economy. Reporting from Dar es Salaam, I'm Ismail Bugda, TBC.
The government has fulfilled its promise to the miners in the country by starting to distribute special machines that will explore rock structure properties to increase gold mining efficiency and improve production. Speaking to journalists in Itumbi, Chunya district immediately after introducing the plant, the mineral officer of the Chunya mining region, Laurent Mayala, says that the technology has been introduced by the government with the aim of boosting the mining productivity. Here's a report by Adolf Mbata, read to you by Teddy Mparanyanga.
In efforts to promote the mining sector in the country, the government has provided special machines to explore rock structure properties in the Mbeya region, aiming to boost gold mining productivity in the region. Laurent Mayala is a mining resident officer of the mining region of Chunya, and here he says that the government has seen the importance of small miners to conduct research at low cost using this technology.
They will stop mining aimlessly and begin mining in areas where they will find minerals and at a specific time. This will make the whole mining process accurate and continuous.
Sekta madini imekuwa na mchango mkubwa sana kwenye pato la taifa.
The mining sector has a very big contribution in the nation's income. Therefore, as a ministry in collaboration with the government, we have decided to bring new research machinery in order to enhance accurate mining techniques.
The manager of the plant and rock specialist, geologist William Kidala, explains that the main goal of the government is to increase gold mining efficiency.
When a miner is aware that he can access to the rock at 100 to 200 meters, it will be easier his spark-creating activities. There are some miners who dig in a very improper way and end up not getting the rock. Our challenge was that we would mine or dig by estimating. These had many disadvantages, but this machinery that has been brought by the government is much effective and less costly.
On the other hand, some miners explain how they will benefit from the technology.
We thank the President for this machinery that will help us to identify where the gold is. Through this machinery, we will be able to protect the environment and avoid accidents in the mining areas. The old method of digging rail caused land degradation.
Infrastructure improvements at Bukoba Port, including the construction of a new pier, renovations of 2 existing piers, a passenger waiting house, deeper water, and a car park area have reached 38% of the total investment and are scheduled to be completed by July this year. This was stated by the port's head of the Bukoba Port, Michael Palangio, whereby he says after the completion, the port will be able to handle 70% more cargo than it currently does, 72,000 tons and 200,000 passengers annually. Rehema Sebabili, who is at the port, has more details.
About 19.5 billion shillings have been invested in this port for the construction of a new pier with the length of 100 meters, which will make the port capable of serving ships with a length of 92 meters compared to the ship with a length of 75 meters currently being served. Speaking about the improvements, Palangio said that the completion of the pier area will help the MV Mwanza Hapakazi 2 ship, which is only 92 meters long, anchor at this port.
For the neighboring countries, we share the borders and also those economic activities. We've been having some vessels from Uganda, Port Bell, and Kisumu. So with the modernization of Bukoba Port, we are going to see more fleet of cargo from those countries to Bukoba and probably from Bukoba to those countries. Our call to the business community and the community at large is to tap into this opportunity here. They have a very modern port here, and it will be a white elephant if they don't use it. It is being built for them.
Currently, the project progress is at 38%, and it is our plan that the project to be completed in July this year. We have instructed the contractor to mobilize more materials for the construction, as well as to mobilize more workers so that they can work even in shift, so that we meet the target to complete the project in July 2024.
However, some of the transporters have said that the completion of the construction of the docks will help improve economic activities in the Kagera region.
Is to bring more goods, more than cement.
Among other cargo served by the port is sugar, due to the presence of the Kagera Sugar Factory, which is easy to transport the product to the Mwanza region and some parts of the neighboring countries, includes Uganda and Kenya. Reporting from Bukoba Port, Rehema Sebabili, TBC News.
Experts from the Geological Survey of Tanzania, GST, in collaboration with local and foreign researchers, have started a detailed research in Tanzanite Mirelani mines in Manyara region by launching drones with high-capacity technology to identify underground minerals. Speaking during the occasion, the acting director of the data department of GST, Hafsa Maulid, says it is the government's strategy to help miners get rid of the old methods of mining, and this will increase production and reduce costs. Here's a report by Yesaya Mwambelo, read by Maria Muburu.
These are the domestic and external researchers who are conducting detailed research in the Tanzanite mines, Mirerani in Simanjiro District, Manyara region. The research is done as a pilot in some areas to see its effectiveness, and later on it will continue in other areas. Technology has advanced to the extent that we can use drones to help our miners to do their work by obtaining information from GST, which will be less costly since research will be done by GST and give them training on how to do mining in an effective manner. The major thing that we do is to measure the magnetic field of Mererani area, which will help us to create a geological map that will indicate the presence of mineral rocks. The quality of our work is obtained through the cooperation we have with a company in Zambia called Zamif and Radeye in Finland, which have been conducting high-resolution geophysical survey and giving out data that will help our society, especially in the mining sector.
As we all know, Mererani is an area that has been mined for a very long time, and recently we have witnessed the small-scale miners conducting their mining activities Kitalusi, which is known for its presence of Tanzanite minerals. But today I have witnessed the GST using drones, which have ability to detect other areas that have minerals. So we hope that our society will benefit from this and will also increase income.
TBConline Hospital and Swissport Company have signed a 3-year agreement to support Tanzanian children born with club foot defects to receive treatment. Speaking in Dar es Salaam after the signing of the agreement, the CEO of TBConline, Brenda Msangi, thanked the Swissport Company for their commitment to helping children with challenges. Emmanuel Samuel has more.
More than 2,000 children in Tanzania are born with the club foot defect. The TBConline hospital is estimated to receive 400 children for treatment, thus require various stakeholders to continue to support children from poor families to receive treatment, as elaborated by the CEO of TBConline, Brenda Msangi.
We need more stakeholders to sponsor health institutions that offer such treatments in order to make sure that children who are born with this disease are not left behind.
Furthermore, Msangi says the community still needs to be educated in order to understand the club foot defect so that a solution can be found in time, while the representative of the Swissport says the cooperation between them and TBConline will be sustainable so as to support more children who need treatment.
In other countries, when children are born with the disease, they begin treatment as soon as possible. So as a nation, we want to reach that level where each disabled child is given early treatment right after they are born. This problem is curable.
Our support to TBConline won't end here today. As Swissport, we will ensure to keep on supporting them and helping the society.
In the previous agreement, Swissport has given 40 million shillings to enable treatment for children with the club foot defect. Reporting from Dar es Salaam, Emmanuel Samuel, TBC News.
The Ministry of Foreign Affairs and East African Cooperation has presented the report on Tanzania's implementation of the African Continental Free Trade Area. Speaking in Addis Ababa on behalf of the Minister of Foreign Affairs and East Africa Cooperation, January Makamba, the Deputy Permanent Secretary, Ambassador Said Shaib Musa, says Tanzania has been the first to implement the Protocol of Africa Continental Free Trade Area.
Mheshimiwa Waziri wetu wa mambo ya nje na ushirikiano wa Afrika Mashariki,
Honorable Minister of Foreign Affairs and East African Cooperation, January Makamba, presented information on behalf of the Minister of Industry and Trade, Dr. Ashantu Kijaji. The information was concerning the implementation of the decision that were made by the AU Council of Ministers and to present Tanzania, who has chaired for a long term the African Free Trade Committee.
The 44th session of the Executive Council of the African Union will be followed by the 37th session of the AU Assembly of Heads of State and Government from the 17th to the 18th of this month. The National Electoral Commission, NEC, has announced by-elections for councillors in 23 wards of mainland Tanzania. The elections will be conducted on the 20th of March 2024. This is according to a statement released by the Director of Elections for the National Electoral Commission, Kailima Ramadhani, in Dodoma today. The nomination forms will be issued from February the 26th to March the 4th, 2024, and the candidate selection will be held on the 4th of March 2024, and the election campaigns will be held from March the 5th to the 19th, 2024. The Commission uses the opportunity to remind political parties, candidates, and all election stakeholders to comply with the Constitution, laws, regulations, elections, ethics, procedures, guidelines, and instructions of the Commission during this by-election, says the statement. Before we wind up the local news, let us have a look at today's exchange rates according to the Bank of Tanzania, BOT. Don't miss TBC News every weekday to know all the latest in exchange rates. Stay tuned for all the latest in the international news. And here's the international news as compiled and read to you by Nyambona Masamba.
India, more Indian farmers are joining a mass march towards the capital, New Delhi. They are demanding guaranteed minimum prices for their crops, debt relief, and policy reforms. Thousands were met by police on the outskirts of New Delhi earlier this week. Police fired tear gas, blocked entry points to the city. To the UN, the United Nations is warning climate and food crises are increasing threat to global peace. A meeting was held on Wednesday aimed at maintaining international peace and security. Representatives explained how some countries were disproportionately affected. In the United States, a mass shooting in Super Bowl victory parade has left one person dead. 9 children were among 21 injured at Kansas City Chiefs fans celebrating their big win at the weekend. Police in Missouri say 3 suspects have been questioned. The motive is unclear. To Australia, MPs in Australia have voted to urge the return home of WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange. The Australian whistleblower has spent 5 years in prison in Britain battling to stop extradition to the US. Assange is wanted there to face espionage charges of WikiLeaks publication of classified documents. A British court ruling on extradition is due next week. In 2010, the founder of WikiLeaks published classified documents about what U.S. military was doing in Afghanistan and Iraq. The same year, an arrest warrant was issued by Sweden after Assange was accused of rape. In 2012, the Ecuadorian embassy in London granted him asylum, avoiding extradition to Sweden. British prosecutors then charged him with violating bail conditions or fleeing arrest. In 2019, Ecuador revoked his asylum, allowing police in London to take him in custody. By then, Sweden has dropped its charges, but the British hadn't. Peace say the return home of Assange will send a very powerful political signal to British government and to the US government. They said justice is not served in Assange's case. to Latin America. Rights groups in Venezuela are demanding the release of prominent activists from prison. Lacio San Miguel was detained last week, accused of plotting to assassinate President Nicolas Maduro. Her lawyer says she has been detained in notorious prison for political detainees. San Miguel has been critical of Venezuela's armed forces for decades. And former prime ministers of Australia, Canada, and New Zealand have released the joint statement in reaction of Israel to planned ground invasion of Rafah. The three countries are calling for an immediate humanitarian ceasefire, saying a military operation in Rafah would be catastrophic. They urge the Israel government not to go down the path. There is simply nowhere else for civilians to go. They go on saying there is growing international consensus. Israel must listen to its friends and must listen to the international community.
And that was the international news with Nyambona Masamba. Stay tuned for the sports news. And in sports news, the head coach of the Azam Football Club, Bruno Ferri, says despite the challenges that Geita Gold Football Club faces, they want to win the game in order to increase their hopes of chasing the championship this season. Ferri believes his players are ready for the game, and their target is only to win 3 points, while the coach of Geita Football Club, Dennis Kitambi, says their hope is to continue to do well in all the major league, including beating Azam Football Club tomorrow.
It will be a very difficult game. We will play against a good team and do our best like we are doing all the time.
Bado na imani kabisa kwamba tuna timu nzuri, tuna timu ambayo inaweza kushindana na timu yoyote.
We have a good team that can compete with any team. I have worked on some mistakes and I'm ready for the game.
The coach of the national hockey team, Elianza Mwankemwa, says currently their goals are more focused on preparing the team for the Mapinduzi tournament so that they can get the best players in order to build a strong national team. Elianza believes that it is an enough incentive for the players to go and show their talents in order to create a friendlier environment to be selected for the national and international competitions.
Na uhakika yatakuwa na tija na yatakuwa na hamasa kubwa kwa maana kila mtu.
I'm sure it will be very productive for the players because they will use this chance to show their talent in order to be selected in national teams.
The establishment of the Lina Tour tournament that will bring together African golf players in East Africa will help to develop the talents of young people in Tanzania. This was said at the Gymkhana grounds by the organizers of the tournament in collaboration with the Tanzania Women's Golf Association, with the aim of honoring the former golfer in Tanzania, Lina Nkya.
Kids in golf, you will never regret. You know, with golf, you will be able, all they'll think about is playing golf. And golf is a prestigious sport known all over the world because of its elegance and what it does in life and how you can mirror yourself. They always tell you, you know, I will play with you and I can tell you the kind of person you are, whether it's in business or in real life. As a golfer, you'll be known. So I think it's a sport that it's good to be experienced by everyone. So especially for the youth, just like how they love soccer and everything, once they know about golf, they will never leave it.
Our prayer is for the government to be attentive and take opportunities like this that will help to expand this sport. We have used this as a way of honoring him.
One of the advantages of this competition is that it will open employment opportunities for athletes who want to become professionals. It is a good competition and we expect players from various parts across the country will participate and amateurs will support the competition as a way of honoring Mama Lina Nkya.
The competition is expected to be held throughout the year in various golf courses, including Dar es Salaam, Kilimanjaro, Arusha, and Zanzibar golf courses from February the 29th this year. And that news item marks the end of the news bulletin for tonight. On behalf of the whole team, I'm Kanki Mwaigomore, but do stay tuned for our Kiswahili news bulletin at 11 p.m. Good night.